Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope that you can hear me. How's it going? So, Brandon Sekinga, Sikkenga, Sekinga, or my Brandon from Michigan, who knows me and Imani, and who is an awesome teacher. But his YouTube channel name is Senior SS Spanish Spot. So, he came up with a great idea. It's called the To Be a Teacher Collab. To Be a Teacher Collab. And I guess he just wanted everyone to give their perspective on becoming a teacher, things that we have to do to be a teacher. Here's the thing. He wanted everyone to upload on December 3rd. But the fact of the matter is that I do Uber and Lyft pretty regularly now. And I do it on the weekends. So, honestly, Brandon, I probably will not have time. I drive all day on Saturday and Sunday. And when I get home from that, I kind of just go to bed. So, yeah. So, which means I do a lot of extra things during the week to make sure that my weekends are free. I check all my papers. I put in all my grades. Lesson plan. I do everything I have to do to make sure that my weekends are pretty much free to drive. So anyway, Brandon came up with this fantastic idea. And I'm jumping the gun just a little bit because it's November 28th and he said December 3rd. But give or take a few days, I just wanted to go ahead and get it out of the way because I just wanted to. School, all right. So, everybody has their own part of the collab. The title of the collaboration is To Be a Teacher, and there are going to be many of us coming on giving our own expertise on becoming a teacher or parts of our journey, or what we feel we're maybe not necessarily experts in, but giving our expertise on something. You know what I'm saying? So there are going to be several teachers after me who come on and give fantastic perspectives on new teacher, veteran teacher, hiring process, certification credentials in your state, because some states are similar, and well, I'm going to say that the basic process is the same. Like, you go to college, you take all these tests, you get certified, you student teach, ta-da, you're in a room. So I think we all went through that. But maybe the way we went through it was a little different. Or even for people who went through alternative cert. So, let's see. Quick update. Holiday was okay, but I had a cold. Yay! Thank you to all the kids in my classroom who never blow their noses until I tell them to, who never take cough medicine, whose parents never take them to the doctor, and who've been snotting for months. And now I've caught it too. But guess what? Miss Charlton will take anything over the counter that her body can handle, and I'm almost done with my cold. I got a couple more days and I should be clear. Thank you. I ain't having no cold for a month. I'm not the one. Anyway. So, holiday was great. Food was great. Spent time with friends and family. I did some driving. I'm kind of addicted to it now because I need the money. So it is a quick way to make money. It's a quick legal way to make money. Okay. So that's just me in a nutshell. I've had several informal observations. I don't appreciate it. I'm like, why y'all watching me so tough? Like, did you all find my YouTube channel? And now you're like watching me to see if I'm snapping or something? Mind your business. I'm grown. Anyway, so I don't know why I've had like four informal observations in 30 days. They all went well, but still, why are you checking on me like that? I don't appreciate. But do what you got to do. Okay, I am who I am, and hey, all I can do is be a better me. So anyway, so that's my quick update. On with the collaboration. Okay, so my part that I wanted to do was a little, and I'm still learning, but these are some of the takeaways that I had in learning about Common Core. caveat: Common Core does not work for children who do not read well, because it's written based on knowing how to read. Yeah. Knowing how Common Core is created based on children being on level readers and writers. And we know the truth about some of our kids, about a lot of our kids. So the bottom line is, since I have been in this Common Core world for the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, I have found that the on level proficient students are getting it. And the ones who are not on level, who are partially or not proficient, are struggling. It's pretty much that black and white, yeah. So anyway, but I just want to give a few key takeaways that I had about Common Core. So I teach 3rd grade, correct? And I've had some training, and I am one of those people who will read the help guide. Like, we had this program. I don't know if you all out there do Power School, okay? I used to have to show people how to use Power School, and they used to ask me, "How do you know?" And I'm like, "There's a help button," and I pushed it. Like, and I don't mean to be a jackass, but I clicked the help button. So for Common Core, I have been online looking up things and reading standards and trying to familiarize myself with the standards and the domains and what this, that, or the other means. Okay. So the overall arch domain, it's like, oh my God, it's like the overall balloon. It's like the roof. It's the top of think of like the rainforest and the different levels of the rainforest. Like the canopy, the top of the tree. Excuse me. That's the domain. Please excuse me. Yuck. That's the domain, the top part. Like, that's the overall domain. And then there are all these other layers to it. So I haven't the time to break all that down to you. But I do have a few cue cards. Hold on a second. Okay. So the biggest things that I picked up. First of all, I'm going to give you the fantastic site. I hope you can read that. It is www.corestandards.org. Go to this website and look up the standards for your state or grade, because sometimes the standards per state are a little different, but not much. But basically, go look up your grade. So I always go here when I have to do my lesson plan, and I have to break down the standard on my lesson plan for my grade. I teach 3rd grade. So please check this site out. It is fantastical. Believe me. And it really does help you unpack each part of the standard. I would highly, highly, highly suggest www.corestandards.org. Do it. Do it. Do it. You want to do it. You're there. Why don't you do it? Go ahead and do it. Okay, anyway. So that's part 1. You like my orange cards? They cute. So, there were 3 things that were brought to our attention when we were learning about Common Core. First, coherence. Okay? What does that mean? Logical, consistent, unified, whole. In other words, the vertical alignment. What they learn in kindergarten should connect to what they learn in 1st grade, should connect to what they learn in 2nd grade, should connect to what they learn in 3rd grade, and so on, and so on, and so on. And they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. And when you're working with the Common Core curriculum, it is spiraling, it is connecting. So, for example, when I was teaching 1st grade, we learned number bonds, which is the new word for fact families. They get on my nerve with these changes. But we learned number bonds, and then we learned addition and subtraction. They learned that numbers are in a family, or they're bonded together, and 3 numbers make a bonded family. So before you learn to necessarily add and subtract, you learn what 3 numbers belong in what family. Anywho, so coherence, the logical, consistent, unified whole, or the vertical alignment of your standard and what the children should know for the grade. So, example again, first grade, we did number bonds, and then we did addition, and then we did subtraction. And we continued to spiral back to the number bond concept because we wanted them to know. So we wanted to make the connection. So coherence, very, very important. Coherent understanding, the whole, breaking down through the parts, decomposition, that's a big word now. Coherence was the first part. Okay. Next, focus. So usually, in Michigan, we used to have what were called GLICs, and we all learn how to teach through GLICs. And I still stand by the GLICs. I don't care. I just think they weren't read properly. You know, they had a lot of depth and breadth to them, and I'm just not the person who's ever going to say the GLICs were wrong. No, but we used to do GLICs. And with the GLICs, you had a wide range of things that you must cover in a certain amount of time. Okay. With Common Core, each grade has a smaller focus. And what I mean by that is, I teach third grade, and our focus, multiplication, division, geometry, and fractions. That's about it. Yeah, we did some measurement, data, time, things like that. But for the biggest part, multiplication, division, geometry, and fractions will be our biggest focus for third grade. Yes, we will cover other things, but not as in depth as we will for multiplication and division, geometry, and fractions. Seriously, we use Eureka Math and the entire first unit, the entire first quarter of the first unit was multiplication and division. Yes, it was. We are just now into measurement and time and data and rounding and estimating. We're just now coming to that. So the focus for your grade will be different. Again, go to the website I gave you and look up the focus for your grade. So if you know what the focus is, then you can teach that to the children. For example, when we're working on story problems, I explain to them, always remember the focus of our grade. Yes, we do practice sub-skills of addition and subtraction. I'm not going to say that we don't do that, but our main focus has been multiplication and division so far. So if I give you a problem, remember our focus is multiplication. That's the operation that you're going to perform. Focus on the operation. Focus on multiplication. So focus is very important. And what does that mean? What are the main standards taught in your grade? Example, multiplication, division, fractions, and geometry. Like my little sign I made, like my little drawings I made. I'm cute though. It is cute. I hear hate from my little drawings. Bite me, people. Anyway, this is not a professional collab, okay? I'm not professional. I try to be, but I'm not always. Love me anyway. Love me. All right, so that's focus. And the last part is rigor, which I cannot effing stand this word because for struggling students, rigor is subjective. It just is. Like, okay, I have a kid in the room who still, and I hate to call him out like this, he still has issues just writing his name. I don't know what this kid's been doing in school all these years, but he's got a lot of issues. So everything is rigorous for him. So they want to say rigorous is a certain level of difficulty because, you want challenge, promotes growth. I get it. If it's too easy for the kids, then they won't have as much growth. I don't know, but okay. Okay, I'm going to go with that. But so there is a level of difficulty that the children should encounter when they're working through the Common Core standards. But for some of our emerging readers and writers and mathematicians, the level of difficulty is high even on the simplest problems. When I tell you that we working on place value and they had a hard time making a place value chart, I just sat there and started praying like, Jesus, why are you mad at me? So trust me, this is a dirty, dirty word. Because based on a child's skill level, this, whoo, oh my God from heaven. I won't let no more. Okay, moving on. So there are other two. So there are two more things that have helped me the most in understanding Common Core. Conceptual. Hope I spelled that right. I was writing fast today. What does that mean? Explain your thinking in words and pictures. Conceptual over procedural. Now, here's a tee-hee-hee. Common Core and the standards that we're working on want everything you do to be here. Yes, there is some procedural practice. In Eureka Math, they're called sprints. What is it? Fluency practice and sprints. They are there. And if this, let me see. Again, going back to you have to be a strong reader and writer and have serious reading comprehension skills to be conceptual. Because yes, the children can explain their thinking in their own words, and they do understand. They can explain it. And yes, the children can draw a picture to explain their thinking. But when the story problem asks for them to write their answer in all words, I have never seen so many faces go or eyes well up with tears because I don't have a working memory. So I really cannot process how to spell the words that I want to put on the paper. I know what I want to say, but this is really hard for them. I'm telling you, your students have to be at or above level in reading and writing to do this. So, explain your thinking. Words and procedures. I know this is like backwards when you guys are looking at that, but still, explain your thinking, words and procedures. I don't know, should I do it upside down? Should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? I have no idea. So, I don't know if the camera was going to turn this around, but anyway. So, this is awesome, and you just have to practice it with them. For the children who can't write it, let them draw it. But please explain to them that you can no longer just give me a number. You have to explain how you got the number. You do. You have to explain what you got it from. For example, we're working on rounding right now. And we're rounding to the nearest 100. And so my explanation to them was, when you give me an answer, you have to tell me how you knew where to go. How did you know to go up to the next 100 or stay the same? So they like, well, I knew because it was above the halfway point, or I knew because it was a 2 in front, and I knew because it was the 6 in the, like, so I said, okay, I don't want you to give me the exact answer. Here's what I want to hear. Here's what you should say. Because sometimes you can feed it to them. You have to feed it to them. Sometimes you have to feed it to them. Because, again, this is a very non-reading generation. They just don't pick up a lot of books. They don't. And so, if you don't have a relationship with words, if you don't have a relationship with books, if you only read at school, if you only read when the teacher is making you do it, then yeah. Expressing yourself is difficult. It just is. So I said to them, if I were answering this question that I just gave you, I would say, I knew what number to round up or down to because I looked at the number in the tens place, and that number told me where to go. So that's how I want you to express your answer to me. Sometimes you have to feed it to them. But once you do that, you pull back and you say, okay, I need you to explain your thinking, and this time I'm not going to give you any support or scaffolding. I need you to explain your thinking, and it has to be correct. So if you need to write it down, if you need to discuss with your team, if you need me to give you a couple examples, I will. But when it's your turn, I need to hear you explain your thinking clearly. So they can explain it and they can draw a picture. But when they have to literally write it in words and sentences, that is where I have never seen so many pained faces in my whole flipping life. So back to procedural. Procedural is the lovely, wonderful rote memorization that we all grew up on. And I'm going to say shout out to rote memorization. I don't care how many people say that we didn't learn something. We learned rote memorization when we were younger. And when we got older, we learned the concept behind it. And I say amen to that way of teaching, but whatever. So procedural is, to me, lots versus hots. Low order thinking, 2 times 2 is 4. High order thinking, I have 2 groups of 2 and that equals 4. That's it. Low order thinking is just writing the equation. That's it. The 2 numbers, the multiplication sign, the equal sign, and the answer. Factor, product, add and sum, okay? That's low order thinking. I call that lots. Everybody can write the problem and the answer. But lots versus hots. So the procedural is the lots. And they're trying to move the kids away from the lots to the hots. High order thinking, which is the story problems, the 2-step word problems, and explaining your answer or writing your answer. But do not leave this out of the process. Because if you, for example, going back to Eureka Math, they have several procedural fluency, rote memorization, sprints, and exercises embedded into the lessons and the standards. The kids need to know the basic numbers before they can do the concept. How can they create a number bond if they don't know that 7 plus 3 is 10? So 7, 3, and 10 are in the number bond. They have to know the basic procedure of that in order to do the concept of the number bond. So if 7 plus 3 is 10, that's the procedural, The concept of that is the number bond. 10, 7, and 3 are in a number bond and they belong together. You can add or subtract them. That's the concept. So these are the basic takeaways that I have gotten from learning more about the Common Core. Again, go to that site. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Go to the site. Look up your grade. Look up your standard. Now, I will tell you what helps me. Yes, I read my lesson. And yes, I go through it and I read it. But I didn't learn that way. So, I go through and I read my lesson. I see all the steps they want me to take. And it overwhelms my mind. I then go straight to the problem, read the problem, and then decide for myself how many ways that I know how to break this down. How can I get the children to understand the procedure and the concept? So I go straight to the problem. I work it out for myself. I figure out how many different ways I can work it out. I walk myself through it. I'm not a big fan of scripts, but I do say out loud what I'm going to say to the kids or how I'm going to show them this. And then it's on. But if I read through a book and the book says, say this, do that, no, my mind blows up. Like, I can't. But when I go to the problem and I see what the problem is asking me, I see the ask of the problem, then slowly but surely I decompose it and I can break it down to the kids. And sometimes the way I know how to teach it is the way the book is telling me to teach it. And sometimes it's a little different, but I'm going to tell you to do that. I'm going to say that reading your lesson plan and reading the lesson and reading all the steps and all the information and all the things that come with it are fine. Look at the problem. Go to the problem first. You know, think about what you already know about breaking down that problem and do it that way. And you're going to find out that what you know is similar to what's being written. It's just being written in a convoluted jargon that we just can't all. I mean, I know I have a master's degree and all, but Jesus, sometimes I'm reading stuff like, what are you talking about? But when I break it down to the kids and then I go back later and see, oh, this is what you meant. I need y'all to be a little bit more layman friendly, like, ugh. It's tough. I'm not going to front. So if you read the lesson first and you read all the information that comes with it, you're going to be overwhelmed. Go look at the problems first. And then go back to the lesson and go backwards. Go in reverse. Begin with the end in mind. In fact, go to your assessment first. Find your assessment, and that will let you know what standard, backwards planning. That will let you know what standards you should cover hard and what standards you can maybe touch on and move on from. And then we're in this new era of not teaching the mastery. I'm not a fan of that. I understand if we taught to mastery, then we would be on one subject forever. I get that. It slows down your scope and sequence and your pacing. By the same token, it's too many kids being left behind because we're not giving a little extra time to some of these standards that we should be giving. So that's my little wrap up of Common Core. Thank you for joining me. Love you. I hope that I was clear and concise. I hope you could see my little signs and my little definitions. And so I wasn't here to give a full realm and breakdown of each Common Core standard. That's not what I was here to do. I was given a brief overview based on my experience and my training. There may be some holes in what I'm saying. There may be some things I've left out. I get it. But again, go to the site. It will absolutely help you. Google is your friend now. Google is your friend. So, thank you for listening. I love you. It's late on a Tuesday night. I'm tired, but I wanted to do mine a little early because, again, I drive all weekend and I just don't feel like doing anything but drive, and then I go to bed. And it's been going okay. So, thank you very much. And thank you for all the extra and listening to all the other parts. You guys are fantastic, great, and wonderful. I appreciate you. And keep me in your thoughts and your prayers. And you're amazing. Oh, and I want to do a meetup. Okay, I saw all these meetup videos, and that is it. I want to do a Midwest meetup, darn it. Darn it to heck. There are people, I know Glitter and Jams is in Missouri. I know Naturally Niani, an emerging educator in Illinois. I'm in Michigan. Mr. Thane's in Ohio. Hey, I want to meet up with the Northwest Territory. Where are you people? I want to meet up with you guys. I want to do a meetup. I'm planning a meetup, okay? I'm doing it. I'm planning a meetup. Come meet me. Come meet me. We're going to figure this out, okay? So my next video is going to be all the information on the meetup. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. I might be the only person at that meetup, but I'm going, okay? Okay? So I'm just here to say, let's do a meetup. I keep seeing Darren Nakakihara and my beautiful, beautiful Smarty style Matt. They live in California. But I'm just saying, Too Cool for Middle School, Kate the Sleepy Teacher, and Darren met. And then what's my baby's name? Christina Costa. She met up with some other Meg's Crayon. She met all these meetups. We need to do a meetup. Okay? So if you're a fan, if you follow me, I love you. I want to meet up. I don't know. Schoolhouse Rap, should we come to you? I don't know. Naturally Yanni, Emerging Educator, should we come to you? I don't know. Ooh, Glitter and Jams, you in Missouri. I don't know if I want to come to you, girl. I'm sorry. Sorry. Ooh. But if we do Chicago, you know you round the corner, Glitter and Jams. Come on through. So I want to do a meetup. I'm planning a meetup. I might be the only clown at that meetup, but I'm doing one. Love you. Have a good night, and I love you all, and thank you for listening. And I hope this is helpful to be a teacher collab. I don't know who's next, but I'm first. Thanks. Love you. Bye. We meeting up, y'all. Don't be hateful. We meeting up. I bought these calming aid pills for my dog. They work. I fed her. I gave her a little pill. She ain't bothered me all night. I got to go in and peek at her, see if she awake. All right. Take care. I love you guys. Bye. I know I'm silly. Goodbye. I done said goodbye 30 times. Bye. Bye. Bye.